episodes we're going to be covering quadratics, and we're doing quad 6, so we're talking about factoring. All right, there's an expression going around in the teaching community. It's called drill and kill, and it's basically old school days when I was going to school. They used to make people do so many problems, and they would say that it would just kill the students because um, you're just making them do a lot of these problems, and just kind of doing it out of memorization. I actually say, you know what? In this particular case, I'm going to do that technique. It's not drill and kill to me. In this particular case, it's called drill and learn. And I'll be honest with you, there's a few steps that maybe I'll teach you, maybe I won't teach you. We're going to draw out. But the best way to do this is to do hundreds of these problems, and you figure out the techniques for yourself. Mainly because there's a lot of different ways to approach this. I'll tell you my thoughts. I'll go through it the best I can, but I definitely want you folks to be doing a lot of this work. All right. So let's try doing the warm-up. Graph this quadratic function. All right. In factored form, that's very useful. That is a quadratic equation that's very useful. If you don't believe me, it being a quadratic equation, I can FOIL this out for you. I'll get x squared plus 4x minus 2x minus 8. So that would be x squared plus 2x minus 8. See, look, this is the same thing as that thing up there, only this up on top is in factored form, which is actually really useful to us. And this on the bottom is in standard form, which is, to be honest, not very useful to us. In factored form, I can find the zeros of the function. So here's one of them is at 2. And another one of them is at -4. To me, that would say that that my vertex is over here at 1. So I want to know, well, what is the y value if I plug in 1 into here? 1 minus 2 is -1, and 1 plus 4 is 5. So the answer is -5, so it's down here. So I would say this would definitely be my graph here. Something like that. All right. Again, we have it in factored form. Positive 1, or so apparently it crosses here and it crosses here. It's an upside down parabola. I would say my vertex is at -3. If I plug in -3 into here, I'll get -2 times 2, and then slap on that extra negative out there. So that would be +4, so up here. So here's how my graph would look, which actually kind of exactly makes sense as to what I thought it would be, because of that negative there, it's going to be an upside down parabola. All right, graph the parabola passing through these points. So that's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy to do. Let's do this in red so we can see the difference. This one again, pretty easy. All right, they gave us 4 points. That is horrible. Give me a second. All right, let's do this one. This one is pretty easy to do as well. And then this one, it's not any harder. Now this particular one, they only gave us 2 points. And I think what's interesting here is you could make this parabola, but just as easily you could call it this parabola, or this parabola. You see, the problem is, when they only give you 2 points, there's infinite amount of parabolas you can make. It's kind of like asking you to draw a line that goes through that point. Okay. Well, that's not the line I was thinking of. It could be that line, or it could be this line. See, the thing is, to describe a line, you need at least 2 points. Now everyone draws the same line. Well, similarly, to describe a parabola, I'm going to need a 3rd point. So my answer to this is I can't draw a parabola. All right. If recall, a parabola is a U-shaped graph of a quadratic equation. If you know where the vertex is, you only need 2 points to draw it, but normally we use 3 points. Basically, I don't understand what they're saying, because they're basically saying if you know where the vertex point is, well, that's a point that you would know, so you only need 2 additional points to draw it. So they're saying that you really need 3 points. I don't know, that's a stupid sentence, but let's see what we got. All right. Which of these is the easiest to draw? I would say this one right here is my favorite to draw. It's easiest for me. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna write these parabolas. Now, there's three different types of forms that we've introduced to you. The first is called the standard form. Now, the standard form, actually, you know what? I'm gonna catch this in the next video.